7 and 8, we're calling it the Jewish Conference. We have over 40 members, and at least one, maybe two of those members are in Africa, one's in the Netherlands, and they are spread across the United States. So we are growing and we're doing wonderful, wonderful jobs. Now tonight, a number of us have signed up to read, and I want to make sure all of us read. So we're just going in order. We'll say who we are and whatever else we want to say, but try our best to do it in less than 5 minutes. So because I'm up here, I'm gonna do mine right now. It's always hard to decide what to do, at least it is for all kinds of reasons. But there are so many terrible things happening in Seattle. I know in the world, but Seattle, I've been here since '67, and it's very, very different from the place. And sometimes I want to cry, and other times I just cry. But when I take a deep breath and look around, I always feel better. So I wrote this poem in January, and I call it A Special Place. Snow-capped mountain, seemingly following us, to the left, to the right, before us, and behind us. Evergreen trees, permanently guarding us, scent intoxicating, beauty invigorating, water surrounding us, inviting us to look, see, swim, sail, dive, kayak, scuba, paddle, and row. Rain, welcoming, annoying, soothing, and refreshing, making and keeping so much in so many shades of green. Sunlight scarce, and therefore more valuable, and the more exhilarating in its scarcity. Only residents, particularly the most observant, relish the beauty of the place anytime in the season.
Thank you.
The next one is a little longer and a little sadder. I cannot get over what's happening in the world. And I just thought this one. Stop this on anything. We did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong, said the little Palestinian boy. How simple the sentence, how very simple. Throughout history, millions who have done nothing wrong but suffer as he and millions suffer. He's old enough to know right at this level. He's too young to know right and wrong or opposite. If he survives, he may learn sometimes life makes sense, sometimes money makes sense, other times connections make sense. In some circles, right moves, depending on the situation. Poor baby, if he survives, he may learn that which is designated wrong is not always wrong, just as that which is designated right is not always wrong. Oh, to live in a world where the innocent is never hurt because they did nothing wrong. Thank you. Happy
So this is the opening excerpt from the chapter of novel that is April 2nd. This chapter is called The heat broke down the hall and danced off the walls of my bedroom. Mama in the kitchen, she got the oven on for the biscuit she makes. The sound she make when she fluffed the dough with her hands is what wake me up. Whoop, 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 the dough say, like it was talking to Mama, telling her she got the consistency right. I wake up to the sound of my mama making biscuits every morning, every day, for all of every day. I just in the middle of winter, but every day, no matter how hot the weather already is. This is summer in Arkansas. My head hurting so bad I can't even sit up. Today the 4th of July, so even though it's scorching hot, my mama done already started cooking a pot of turnip greens. I can tell by the smell. It ain't even 7 o'clock yet, but it's already hot as hell in our. Mama also is cooking our breakfast. She make biscuits, gravy, pork chops, and bacon, smothered potatoes with onions, boiling some more potatoes for the potato salad she's making for later on. Today is also Mama's birthday. I have got her a present. I paid for it with the money that I make from Cut Better, running to the store, getting her Kent cigarettes and short coats. It ain't much, because Cut Better don't really pay all that well. My head is pounding and I feel sick to my stomach. Every breath that I take fill my lungs up with hot air. I try to lift my head so I can get out of the bed, but arrows of pain shoot all through my scalp and my neck. The air coming from my fan feels real damp and real warm. I hear Sissy in the living room. She is mopping the floor. She like to do her work in the morning in the cool of the day. But it ain't no such a thing really with mama cooking the way that she do every morning. I do not understand how she can be in that kitchen. I hear her pull the pan from out of the oven. The biscuit dough finally ready. I can hear the radio in her bedroom. It sounds scratchy with static. Sweet Willie Wine, the DJ, talking about the children's crusade. That's a bunch of colored children down in Birmingham, Alabama, and things that they did that's engaged everything. My brother Quentin was a DJ on the same radio station before he left Little Rock and moved to Mississippi. Now he a DJ in Jackson for WOKJ. Although he moved around a lot following all the civil rights demonstrations and reporting on the radio all the things that go on. Try to move my head again, but it feels like some daggers are stabbing me in my eyes so bad I can't see. I know I need to get out of bed and go help my mama. All I really want to do is to go back to sleep. Your mama take biscuits from out of the oven and start to humming as she take them into the dining room and sit them on a hot pad that she put on the table. Mama start to roll the old Dr. Mike's. She is gonna start to singing in a minute. That's what she always do. I can tell what kind of mood she gonna be by the song that she sings. This morning she said, Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, oh, whither shall I go?
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Kiki Monet. I'm one of the here in Seattle, Washington. I'm the executive director of New Black Arts Theaters, the oldest African American theater in the Pacific. And I wrote a play, and its name is A Homeless Community. And that homeless community gets together every year and they celebrate life. They've been a community for years, and they celebrate life. And this is actually a statement that was given to me because in the play I really spoke with homeless people, and believe it or not, we're only a paycheck away from being homeless. To you, I'm homeless. Tony said, Mr. Brown. To me, this is my home. We did not choose to live this way, but it became the only way we could survive. Look at me. I was a professor once at the University of Washington, but because of cutbacks and the discontinuation of African studies, I found myself overqualified and unprepared for what the future had in store. I started drinking heavily. I know I pretended to be in control, but all I could see was that my whole life was tumbling down. I didn't know how to get it together, so I stayed loaded to numb the pain. I started drinking to numb the pain of the miseries of the child abuse when I was 8 years old. So I know what it's like to escape the pain in a bottle. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if I'll ever. I don't know if I'll ever be able to completely return back into society. All I know is I have people here who care about me, who accept and love me for the person I am. People want me. This has become my family, my home. This may be hard to believe, but most people are all only one paycheck away from homelessness. I want to also dedicate this short other piece I have, it's becoming my signature piece, to the Amish people. I was born in Seattle, Washington, and my first few years of life were on the reservation of the Amish. The Amish Project is what they call. That's the black people came when they came from Europe. Going, stealing people, you know, came, migrated here and built Seattle up. And I don't know, I want to dedicate this poem to them. Because when the railroad came through, the way that they could tell how close it was to them and their villages and their dwellings. Oh, by the way, thank you, Duwamish. Thank you for inviting us and making us have a home when we got here. And you could hear how far the train was by just touching the train track, you know, in that eerie thing. You hear a conductor say, all aboard. All aboard. All aboard has come aboard. We got something to do. Like the sound of a railroad car moving towards freedom and equality. This is a piece that God gave me, and it's hard for me sometimes to get into it because it's so deep in my spirit. All aboard, like the powerful rumbling wheels of a locomotive headed towards freedom. Starting out slow and gathering speed, like the sound of a railroad. I love your determination to be free, but what should I realize you've been dehumanized by a system full of all sorts of false accusations and out communication, fed to the world with determination to keep us down, face down, harm, and into the ground. I stand accused of not setting you free, but I still see no reason to take free to build a God, free to be alive, free from miseducation. Take it easy. free from improper incarceration, all forms of discommunication, violence, and shameful elimination. If you believe in peace and love and harmony, take a knee. If you believe we should all be free of poverty, take a knee. If the murder of children in our schools is wrong, take a knee. If the killing of Black people should not go on, been done for far too long, take a knee, take a knee, take a knee. Make things right and set yourself free. With liberty and justice for all. So,
We must always do our trouble. Being mindful, I think many stories feel this to reenact people's people. If you take 50 people, place them in a room all week, 40 of them good, 10 of them evil. When you return a week later, you will touch that. It's like the biblical story of Moses took the Israelites all the way to the promised land. He stopped out, only to find on his return the few evil people and the many good people left behind, worshiping idols. 20,000 British conquerors entered Africa, the land of 1 million Africans who sold to them the greatest wealth they had, keeping those lives. The British slave traders sold them to American farmers who wanted those lives to do the work they did not want to do themselves in the southern heat of their country. Evil lived in them, needing to be brutal and violent to those they dragged over to work free for them. Thinking in their nefarious minds, it was a necessary evil, though there was nowhere the men and women or children could go once they landed on American soil. The same as if you woke up and found yourself on Mars, where everyone was green and was using you to feed on. The evil that existed in the hearts of those who brought them as slaves sought to use brutal force to work with those they feared and hated. Crispus Attucks, said to be one of the first Americans to die fighting in the Revolutionary War, died not knowing his people would live 246 years in slavery. Frederick Douglass would discover 13 years after the Civil War, his people had exchanged slavery for Jim Crow. The worst kind of slavery when a white person could take the life of a man or woman or children, and for not stepping off the sidewalk when he walked, he or she walked past them to kill them. You know? Fighting the war against the evil of Jim Crow, Martin Luther King attempt to eradicate that evil. Today, there are more than 50 million white Americans living in this country who are Black because of the pleasure the white man took in spreading his sperm around inside the bodies of Black females for 400 years, thinking this evil power would allow him the freedom of the pleasures of those prejudices forever, believing his race would still remain white and pure. No, that's not the case. Now, let me tell you this. If you're looking for a book to curl up in the bed, put you to sleep, my books will never do that. You are, and in fact, you are, you are on a roller coaster, riding all the way down the evils of hell. There they are.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. And my name is Margaret Barry, and I have two little talk to you. I read to you. It's about telling. About me. First one is telling about me. I am still learning how to write a good sentence, be with my family and my husband. I want to share matters of my heart, matters of relationship, and telling the truth. I'm learning how to be a devoted listener. And I'm here wanting to listen to you all, except at the same time, I want to read my story. This one is called Telling About Sister, Dragon, and Me. The ferry boat headed to Seattle. It hit rocks and sank. Sister was on board the boat. We found out after her death she had a daughter. She died not knowing her brilliant firstborn daughter. Sister gave her up for adoption when she was young, not sure who influenced her to make such a powerful decision. And she kept it a secret for her lifetime. I dream about why we keep secrets, why we're ashamed and ashamed. She birthed her baby out of wedlock. What the law states, a mother's baby is illegitimate if she's married. What about the father? Is he criminalized too? I stopped by the park to visit my friend Richard. Now, Richard, you gotta know, is a wyvern dragon. He lives in Lincoln Park. You can go visit him anytime you want to. He was disturbed when he woke up and told me. He dreamed there was an accident on Puget Sound. He said to saddle up and hold on. That's when we changed. Hold on. He's no longer the aluminum cast inanimate object, but a transformed, organic, full-blown dragon with 20 feet wingspan, And I'm an eagle. I'm an eagle. I turn into a bald eagle with a wingspan of 6 feet. And eagles are a symbol of bravery, honor, and grace. We flew up in the sky. I gripped his fur with my talons. My breath flowed easily in the wind as we flew toward the Olympics, the mountain range. Around the point, moving toward Elliott Bay, we located the submerged ferry boat until we could see, and we circled around it. We circled around several times until we could see inside the ferry, and then we could see inside the cars. Wyvern used his magic eyes, and I used my evil eyes to see inside the cars. He saw my sister and lots of other drowned people. Suddenly, I felt a great sadness for my sister and those who perished with her. Then we flew back to his nest. If we're seeing, quote, out of space, out of place, unquote, if we're seeing, we would be locked up, we would be studied to no end, and then killed. He's a 17th century dragon. I'm a 21st century elder.
She died on a ferry boat holding her secret. She died without telling her story. Some say when we become elders, we have a need to tell our stories. But she didn't tell not one bit. She didn't tell. So I'm telling. Thank you.
Jay.
No, I'm saying.
I'm Jay. And there is nothing wrong. I love that poem, Georgia. There is nothing wrong with that mama cooking in the kitchen. That is for sure the type of food she was cooking. There was nothing wrong with that. Okay, so again, my name is Jay, member of the African American Writers Alliance. Of course, the piece that I'm going to read to you is called A Black Poem Caribbean. And the reason it's called Black Poem Caribbean is that next month I will be reading poetry at the University of Victoria in Canada to some students, and a lot of them are from the Caribbean. So I had to spice it up a little bit. A Black poem. Let the world sing a sweet chariot song of the range of a Black poem. Sing it baritone, tenor, soprano, alto, Bob Marley, Mahalia Jackson strong. Let the world dance a Black poem choreographed by Rihanna, Ailey, dynamic, graceful, vibrant, tap dancing on wood like Bill Bailey. Let the world be a Black poem. Behind closed doors or in a boisterous crowd, be brilliant, bright, colorful, and shamelessly bold and proud. Let the world quote. Let the world quote a Black poem with the rich metaphors of Angelo and North flowing Nile, vast Serengeti plains, Ethiopia, Seneti Plateau. Let the world know a Black poem, powerful voices pouring from the pages of Sir Wilcott, Hughes, Dunbar, imaginations aching to understand, exuberant joy, agonizing pain, and deep emotional scars. Let the world paint. Let the world paint a Black poem. Walker, Willier, Waring, Lawrence, Wiley, Amos, a vast, expansive canvas, very few well paid, let alone famous. Let the world walk. Let the world walk in the steps of a Black poem, feeling Shaquille O'Neal size 22 shoes, taking responsibility, accountability, reparations long overdue. Let the world breathe in a Black poem. Morgan and Vinny, the gas mask filled lungs with refreshing air of truth, taking false narratives to task. Let the world savor. Let the world savor a tantalizing cuisine of a Black poem from all corners of the globe. Yams, plantains, jerk chicken, fritters, rice, pigeon peas, so delicious, blue eyes close. Let the world give praise, honor, and thanks for a Black poem before the written words are banned, burned, criminalized, now and forever gone. Thank you so much. Your next poet
It's the game, Lloyd. Thank you, Lloyd.
Hello, everybody. First, I want to tell you, March 2nd, myself, Ellen, and two other authors will be at Highline Heritage Museum at 2 o'clock. And I think I gave most people flyers. If I didn't, pick one up on the way out. And also, I'm not going to read from a book, which I used to do, but this is down the road of these. I will be talking about it at the museum on March 2nd. And you can check it out. You look at the, read the back when that And before I read my poem, I just want to tell you that authors, and I have a hard time pronouncing, but I definitely Chief Anta Diop and Ubala Noah Harris, as well as UNESCO's International Scientific Committee for the drafting of a general history of Africa. People influenced the way I created this poem. I created this poem on the first day of Black History Month, 2024. Africa, a symbol of my roots, dug deep into a branch of evolution, where we used the same tools as our cousins, but took advantage of what we did, all the way beyond Africa.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you. My name is Mary Ann Osborne, and I have been a member of the African American Writers Alliance since 2017. Today, I was given shout out today who recruited me. I'm very excited for our upcoming anthology. As Gaylord mentioned, we have this in the back. We have a new one, and it inspired me to go into a genre I never had gone into before. And like Margaret said, I'm always learning how to write the first sentence. But I just thought, you know what? I want to do a murder mystery. So I'm going to go and tell you a little bit about my murder mystery. Thank you all so much for helping me. This is, she gave me some advice. The name of this murder mystery is called A Foggy Night for Murder. And in our upcoming anthology, you will find a prologue to the full book, which I hope to have published next year. Now, if you live along the coastline of Puget Sound, you're sure to hear foghorns, right, during rainy, stormy, or foggy nights. And this story was inspired by these sounds. Historical, it's a historical fiction murder mystery. Seattle, October 1947. A young couple, Josie and Clarence, have moved to Seattle seeking a better life. But their lives are interrupted by murders at the waterfront and the disappearance of their friend. A Foggy Night for Murder, abridged version, prologue. A prolonged blast from a foghorn startled him. Leonard's body vibrated from the unnerving sound. The heavy early dawn fog made it difficult to see anything on the water. As thick as pea soup, he thought, pulling the collar of his night watchman jacket up around his neck. The identity of the vessel may have been a mystery, but he knew the meaning of that blast. Danger ahead. A World War II veteran, Leonard prided himself on deciphering any signals that came his way. His ability to discern even the smallest signs saved his life too many times to count. He stood at the end of the dock, marveling at the fog. The weather in Seattle was different from where he grew up in cotton country. Yet there was something about tonight that made him uneasy. The eerie weather brought back memories of fighting the Germans on the battlegrounds of Italy as a member of the 92nd Buffalo Soldiers Infantry Army Division.
Holding a flashlight in one hand and a clipboard in the other, he continued his work. He had a few more rolls of cargo to inspect before his 7 a.m. shift ended. The Port of Seattle was one of the busiest ports on the West Coast. During World War II, port activities centered on the war effort. Now, 2 years after the war's end, the city of Seattle was working hard to shore up its reputation as a hub for shipping goods and supplies to Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, and the Orient. The Port of Seattle was the cornerstone of that dream. And that's why Leonard was working on a Monday in October before sunrise. They needed men for their dream, and he needed a job to fulfill his own. Now, he arrived at the port full of experience and with a letter of recommendation from his sergeant. But he was offered only one position, night watchman. Leonard knew it was a career dead end for people like him, Negroes. But Leonard wasn't a quitter, and he would bide his time. He was assigned to the day shift when he first got the job, but last week, unexpectedly, they shifted him to the night shift, which meant he worked alone. In a nutshell, his job consisted of keeping his eyes and his ears open. The war was over, but rumors were rampant about possible Nazi and Japanese spies and of espionage were everywhere. Having the Seattle office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation helped build that tension. Everyone was treated with suspicion, and the G-men observed undercover. Growing up with Jim Crow and fighting here for a lifetime. All he wanted was a simple life. He left the dense fog of the dock and went into the nearby covered warehouse. Cargo from under its roof was loaded onto ships and trains and barges. He began his inspection, and the next row was row 20. Everything was going fine for Leonard until it wasn't. Towards the end of the row, the beam from his flashlight picked up the reflection of something shiny. Something was off. His battleground training kicked in automatically. He noticed one crate separated from the other, its lid pried off and tossed aside. Moving closer, he looked inside. The shipping manifest said the crates were full of canned goods, but instead he saw guns, lots of guns, Browning machine guns to be exact. And lying near the open crate was a man's motionless body. He shined his flashlight on the man's face. Willis, he whispered. George Willis was lying on his back. Blood was seeping through his white shirt onto the warehouse floor. Leonard had seen enough death to know Willis was dead from a gunshot wound to his heart. From a gunshot to his heart. He wasn't wounded, he was dead, y'all. Okay, a gunshot to his heart. Now, the last time he saw Willis was 2 weeks ago when the man had sucker punched him in front of plenty of witnesses. Someone was setting him up. For what, he didn't know. But he had seen plenty of innocent men like him with alibis who ended up in chain gangs or hanging from the Klansmen. He needed more than his innocence to prove he had nothing to do with Willis's death or gun smuggling. He wasn't going to be anyone's patsy. I gotta call Clarence. Clarence was his close friend and 92nd Army buddy. Together with his wife, Josie, he felt certain they'd figure out a plan to get him out of this mess. He had to act quickly. Thank you. Here. Yeah, I said it wrong. I asked her to hear. She was good.
Yeah. So we're gonna have, hello, I think we're gonna have stage go. But I'm gonna move a chair for her, still in her short phase of life. What I said, but then you have to read. Okay. She wants me to go first. She wants me to go. So hi, my name is Quayle Bjorn, and it was very close, no problem. I take her, I don't want to argue. It's fine. So I'm a poet of healing and spiritual development, and I have two pieces here tonight. First, I want to read a piece that was a tribute to Elizabeth Catlett's Negroes Bellow. Her picture was called Black is Beautiful from 1968. We did an exhibit with the Seattle Public Library. So I really love that painting. And for reference, the painting was of a child and there was different shades of gray. And he was looking up. Contrast and contrast. It seems no matter, but for whatever other reasons, Blackness had to be confronted. We had to know the difference between our fear of the dark and the human walking upright. How is it we came to be? And the darker you are, the more questions you see. What is this dark matter in juxtaposition to me? This made other matters evident, and contrast produced conflict, proven only useful in retrospect. Emanating from that which absorbs more than it reflects. But blackness, darkness, and even the darkest of matter is just a continuous blend of light and shadow. And it seems that because it is matter, that for no other good reason do we need in order to love who we are. And that morale is the starkest contrast that poses the greatest conflict thus far. When I wrote this, I don't know, maybe during COVID or pre-COVID, it's called Dear Martin. Dear Martin, thank goodness for you. Independent of thought, confident in your pursuit. From moving in the spirit of justice with an intuitive sense of truth. So radically gifted with spiritual insight, with the love you show for liberty and the respect you show for life. How did you know? Only heightened awareness could reconcile the harsh realities of heartache and strife. And even after dissolution, your love was found guilty of flirting with those who delay process. Yet justice is not a commitment lacking in betrayal of backward progress. It was not the love that created breeding grounds for war and reasons for rival. No, we owe that to the scholars, bold and brave, using the cold hearts of fools, desperate for retaliation, desperate for survival. But without an army, you chose the right word. Here at home and amongst and within ourselves, loyal to action of hearts and mind, leading with compassion, outlived the past of violence and withstood the test of time. So how did you know? To use moral force to challenge the deranged, provoking the healing of those threatened by chains. In systems we did not create, but we have all helped to perpetuate. I applaud your contribution toward other people's lives. Not sure how long it will take all of us to realize the change we wish to see must be modeled without being passive. Instead of violence, we press on towards peace that is first expressed through our very own actions. Dear Martin, how did you know? Thank you. I want to introduce to my lovely little daughter. She wants to be called little lady now.
Little lady.
I say little lady girl. But anyway, say let's do some preparation. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. You got it, baby.
You are anything you want. You are the waves in the ocean. You are the sunshine of the day. Don't let people tell you that because they're only saying that about yourself. So be happy.
Mm.
It's like you have you are because you think about yourself. Then think about what you were great at. Think about how you are now. Because you are safe, you are free, and you are anything you want to. Let's see that first one. And you are
Aw.
also I saw my the room and also my mom is too. She has a way more phones to keep you ever.
Aw.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Clary. That was beautiful. My name is Melanie Bell. I'm a new member to the African American Writers Alliance. And I have to say that Dr. McDade, oh, there's Dr. McDade was one of my first teachers. I've been watching AAWA, is what we call it, since I was a little girl at the down when they were on First, when they was on First Avenue. I used to go there as a child and see Minnie Collins and grab one day. Minnie Collins was my actual first English teacher when I was 19 years old. The first person that wanted to teach me to write and appreciate myself. So this is a really big full circle for me to be here tonight. And thank you for doing this event. Happy American History Month. Again, my name is Melanie Bell, and I'm going to do a piece that my grandmother inspired out of me when I was trying not to kill Derek Chauvin for killing George Floyd. I had a really difficult time over the last, I call it the George Floyd massacre. So the university and all my ancestors were channeling a lot of work for me. And she said, confession is good for the soul. So I wrote this. Then sings my song, my Savior God. She grates on my nerves. How great thou art! The less she pleads, the more she sees that we are. How great thou art! Oh, I hear it. The echoing tone holding my attention to self-hatred, but I've been through a valley and a shadow of death, and I fear no evil. I've let go of the long flowing tresses that were hopefully less white rather than deaf, dumb, and blind hiding behind napkin edges or braided up, bent up cornrows of Bo Derek puncture wounds. You know, she punched her wound with a kicking, which is the last thing that she remembers before screaming at her sister that you're sicker than me. Turn trauma. Paper napkins to the trees of unfulfilled dreams that will not be if she is happy too. We pretend it's the white tea, but what else can we do? Hate her teeth, hate her smile, and say tea is black after all. It's not free and white and 21. Because she is beloved, and she's released from speech that points and shames and blames, and she leans on her man. And she would strangle her own tongue despite her own throat's thoughts. She would hide her heart in fairy tale shaped boxes with twisting labyrinths and princess high walls. She would allow costly things to hide the unseen madness of needing to be better than her.
The Ark of the Covenant spoke of these things coming, spinning winding revelations of brother against brother and sister against mother, holding holes closer than feeling full could offer. No wonder the somber sober in us suffers to see someone black like me calmly close the door and wonder no more, seeing liars laid flat as hope floats. And wise men spoke of these things coming, and saviors savoring the good news gospel. It's in us all, it's through us all. Ascension is calling, flying, hummingbird, free, yet she, wily, insists on staying grounded. Enjoying pain's pleasures, she's addicted to the needling, measuring, mentally andering, and gymnastics of being nasty. You hurt her, kick her, call her crazy, shame her, blame her. She's worthless, she's lazy, forgetting all the while that we are the sowers in the parables that we're speaking, and the grimmest reapers of everything that our split tongue is speaking. We are dirt and spit, bleeding. She says, bitch, I'm attractive. Like crack is in this matrix. Our bent souls spent on narcissistic selfishness. And the missing element is love. Love is never forgiven for always winning. Like Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Coco Gauff, Venus and Serena Williams. Love never loses. She only leaves wanted. And we are all wound, ground, bound in love's wound. It's an all-consuming fire meant to melt metal and hard hearts, like paper napkins to her trees of life. She is the guardian to desire's swelling belly, pushing and letting, burning all being. Love is owned by freedom. She is the endless never-needer, the keeper of silences sought between thoughtful rest, rendered quenched. She is all that there is. I own only this. Love. Then say no. Thank you. Most people got no reason. Okay. So 38,000 students and someone tell me put a comment there. Yeah, submit for York right now. Still vote for me.
And in 1977, Sleepy Joe said, integrated schools via busing can never be. Orange Julius said, women I can grab easily by the crotch. While Sleepy Joe looks like he just downed a fifth of scotch. Stumbling, bumbling Joe, acting like he drowned in Mad Dog 2021 and condoning the current genocide in Palestine. Dumb Donald and his ilk will never be mistaken for scholars. His fraudulent ass must pay $355 million. What's the second verse going to be? The orange one and a little yellow pig? Did he really pay for them to shower? Was it premeditated? Or was it a whim? Does he really enjoy doing that? Getting doused over layers of McDonald's laid fat? This fool really was our president. Hey, evangelist, tell me where your dignity went since you claim he was ordained from heaven above. New millennial Christianity must be about that kinky love. Let's slide back to Slick Joe. Here's why. In 2007, he said Obama was the first Afro-descendant candidate who was a clean, articulate, bright, and nice-looking guy. Yeah, I guess it comes out that way. And he knows what to say. Because he is half white, using tethers instead of dynamite. Yeah, Sleepy Joe likes us, as long as we wear the mask. Yeah, Sleepy Joe likes us, if we complete our sharecropping task. For the last verse, not really last. For the last verse, I'll go back to my great-great-grandfather's days. Because for him, America still ain't changed its ways. See, he was around in 1857 when we were living a hell on earth and promised relief in heaven. Buchanan was the press who believed in states' rights, which meant perpetual enslavement of my people by whites. And when I peruse the world with his eyes, I see eerily similar skies. Instead of chattel slavery, I see mass incarceration. Instead of loving bravery, I see fascistic adulation. Because you are the 2024 version of the 1495 status quo. And it's still not what, but who you know. Dumb Donald, grandson of a Seattle Skid Row pimp. And Sleepy Joe, slimy wimp, who always capitulates to the military. A highfalutin bigot, kind of snobby, time and time and time again, we demonstrate that this is the land of mediocre, old, lazy white men. So now, before I put you through, I'll let you know I ain't voted or excited about either of you. And my indigenous cousins continually have to fight for the limits of their lands. And none of you so-called leaders have ever taken stands like doing the right thing and setting healthy air free. Cause then you platy helmethies would have to agree that everything in this country was jacked, stolen, and your filthy coffers are throbbing, swollen, with profit you never worked for, with profit begotten from rape, pillage, and war. So, me and my great-great-grandparents say to you, fuck you, Orange Clown, and Sleepy Joe, too.
No, don't say that now.
Yeah. Want to take it out? Do you want to take the thing down? Sir, she wants to take the bottom out. The bottom part out. You can barely see. All you can see is your little head over. Yeah. Way better. I see you. Thank you. Yes.
So my name is Glenda, AAWA. It's my wedding name. I went 2 weeks ago and Dr. McDade is and Miriam Davis, Marianne Osborne, I've only known her since we were like 12. Is the reason the motivators for me. So, this is a poem that I wrote. And this is a poem that I wrote. And then, this one is called, Good Morning. So this is, I'm sharing how I feel. In the morning, I lift my hands, pray, and this is what I say. Lord, thank you for another day. Only you have the power to smite darkness. God said you'll stick closer than a brother or a friend. And I'm here to remind you of his promises again. During those times when I feel stressed out, broken, and depleted, this is when I'm most vulnerable and the enemy can creep in. Can the enemy be a person, place, or thing? Well, it is anything or anybody that leads you to sin. What should you do to keep the enemy out? Fall on your knees, lift your hands to the Lord, then pray, scream, and shout. Will this allow me to begin again? Yes. God said, bring all your burdens, and he will lighten them. And I have one more. So this one, I wrote this one on 12/3/22. So my friend lost her daughter, who was about 30. 30 years old, just lost her son. And it also, um, you know, I lost my husband, and so I wrote this poem. It's called One Christmas Night. I wrote this poem one Christmas night in remembrance of the love of my life. I send this Christmas wish to you with prayers of peace, comfort, and solace too. I know it's hard to reminisce on Christmas past that we once knew. Oh, I've had some pain. Oh, I've had some loss, some pain and heartache too. And this is why I say to you, your loved one would not want you to be sad. So stand up, get up, don't hesitate. It's time to celebrate. Yes, celebrate your loved one's life with pride. And just know that God is by your side. And in case you have to cry, God will be there to catch your tears and dry your eyes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Elizabeth Williams. Mary Elizabeth Hine. And I am a member of AAWA, very new, and this is my first time. Irish over in Whitney. So I have three poems. The first one is in remembrance of Ahmaud Arbery. And I wrote this poem in that time.
Do you know Jim Crow? You know Jim, last name Crow. He lives down the road. The address is 1488. He's driving the black pickup with the blacked out windows and the red rims. You might even know his kin. They work over there at the government building. His sister always walks her dog. Last week they visited that black boy's house with a few friends. Yeah, I know, but they didn't mean no harm. They was just worried about the little girl who ran off and protecting her honor. Do you know Jim? Him and his son caught that boy running. Do you know Jim? The other day, he took a knee for the cause. Yeah, that's Jim Crow. He's been in the neighborhood forever. This one is for the ancestors. My great-great-grandfather is Reverend Taylor Nightingale. Reverend Taylor Nightingale was pastor of but that's the Bill Street Missionary Baptist. You see, that is the newspaper that called to Ida B. Wells to come down and take over the paper as he was being on. They got lynched by Memphis black folk for being a fire starter from the pulpit. And so I'm honored to say that Ida B. Wells took over my grandfather's paper, my great grandfather's newspaper, and historically there are no copies left. They're out. So I come from a line of so I begin. There is joy in knowing that we will not die, that the peace of existence is to plant
seeds of resistance. There is joy in knowing that we will not die, that every strain of us has a place in stuff, that nothing is ever a lie until you are shown the truth. There is joy in knowing that I will not die. My ancestors' defiance is bedded in the side up. The ability to orate and stand in a crowd and speak truth to power, and especially now, there is joy in knowing that they will never die. I speak my auntie's tongue and see with my grandmother's eyes. My rumbling was passed down 180 years ago, and where it stops, nobody knows. The greatness comes with greatness comes great responsibility. So I'm going to try to. So who's going to try to stand and block me? Purpose above all things in this life. We are walking on sunshine in this imaginary time. There is joy in knowing that we will live forever. That even when they blow us up, we will still be together. That nothing in life is ever free. And all my ancestors paid with their blood to come before me. I stood on a mountaintop and saw that I could be what I could be. And I felt 100 fingertips pushing me toward being free. I cannot imagine never stopping the fight. Even in my dreams, I fight for what's right. I cannot understand why you say do not tread on me, while also crying because nothing is ever free. There is joy in this pain to keep moving along, while we leave legacies half finished, lives half lived, remembering pieces of lives that only half give. There is joy in knowing that I will never die, that I have planted seeds of ancestors in places. That we will live one version or another, keeping the secret safe, that we are always brothers. When I come back from dust, and to dust you return, please touch my spirit so that I will never yearn for the life less lived and purpose unachieved. We will live forever, even as our ancestors did. And then I wasn't going to read this one, but this last poem. Justified. I want to tell you I stand for something. I want to tell you I love America. I want to tell you I am sick of the low-key questions of my loyalty. I want to tell you I saw a therapist and then I referred them to a whole country. I want to say that Black women are the ancient oracles and are killed because nobody can handle the truth. I want to say that the magic is in the blood, and if one survives, the truth lives forever. I want to say that no matter where you come from, you will always carry the Black African woman in you. She is Eve, the Virgin Mary, the mother of all. I want to tell you that your conception was far from immaculate, and the waste of your birth follows you into the millennium. How is it that history written by you says that we carry the mark of Cain when it is we who look like our mother? I want to tell you that we will be buried in the dirt and poured into oceans, but you see, we do not die. I want to tell you that you cannot erase what you can't see, and what you can't see cannot be erased. I feel no sorrow for your guilt. And I want to tell you, just
keeping track of time, I was worried because a few more people were supposed to be here. My watch is fast, I think it's about 8:25 and we were paying for 8:30. So this is very, very,
Good
very
job.
good. Time, we have time. Thank you very much. I want to make a few announcements, and I certainly want you to go back and get some of our books back here. I like telling people that there are over 40 members, and more than half of us have written books. I think that's unusual. I don't think you can find another group of people. So many of us have written books, but all of you have books. Raise your hand. Or another book. How did you do that? How did you do that? And the nicest something someone has said the past few weeks is, I didn't have a book, but when I followed them with books, I got busy. That's what I want to do. So I thank you. I thank you very much. I also want you to know that we have a website. Please go to the website that you can sign up and then you'll get alerts and you will know what we're doing when. Every second Sunday except in May and August, we are online and now at Columbia Library doing Writers Read where we have open mic. That's every second Sunday, okay? The first Saturday, we have our meetings at 10 o'clock. And
Thursdays,
third place book, second Thursday, thank you. Third place book, second Thursday at 7 o'clock. And that's our Seward Park, thank you, Seward Park, third place, 7 o'clock, and that's open mic. And sometimes we have 3 or 4, and sometimes we have 12 or 15, but it's always fun. So if you're in the neighborhood, please come. Okay. This June, for the first time, we will have a writers' conference. And we're
Yes.
calling it the Genius Conference.
Yes.
Because there are geniuses among us, okay? We're going to have workshops and seminars and performances, and we're just going to have a good time. So we want you to mark your calendars right now, and we want you to tell everybody because we want everybody to show up. Now, at this time, I would like to have the group answer questions. And if you have no questions, then we can spend maybe another 5 or 10 minutes. So maybe we should start doing the books. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe we could have some more books, whichever you want to do, not read books. Okay. All right. But any questions or comments? Anybody?
Oh.
Yes, say.
Mm.
That's,
Nice.
yeah, that's good.
That's down the road.
Yes.
It's really good.
And that's Gaylord's. And I'm always amazed at the kinds of things I know about that so many other people don't know.
Mm.
But it gives me hope because I tell myself before we do, then maybe some of these terrible things would not be true.
Mm.
I remember when I was running at Mount Zion and we were celebrating the anniversary of the Civil Rights Act when we were allowed to sit in front of the bus. And that particular day, we were gonna take the band to Bellevue, and there was not enough space. But I was not the type to say we won't go. I came up with the right idea. So about 25 million, more, must have been more than that, because we could put 15 in the band. So it must have been 32 kids got on the bus. Not fun. One of the kids said, "Oh, when you were a little girl, you couldn't sit in the front of the bus." And then I got so hot. Because these kids knew it, and they were on the bus. That's why we have to tell them. That is so good at telling the stories. But these are not the kind of things that go over. I was 11 when I found out. I could not see the bus. I don't get on the bus too often, and honestly, I don't think about it every time I get on the bus. When I get on there sometimes, I think, if I drink out of a water fountain, I see color in white. And people don't know that. So we have to tell the stories. If we don't tell the stories, they don't get it. We have to tell. Yes. No, no, we're gonna do the books. Anybody else? Got a question? Oh, I wanted to, there's some more members in the audience who didn't read. I wanted to meet them. Tracy has been here, recording, making a video. Dr. Tracy Harris is one of our new members. Somebody else trying to hide, move told us to be saying, you know, and who else? Is that everybody? Oh, Leoma, been all over Africa, representing the United States. Come on.
You have a new number?
Yeah, oh, thank you, Deborah, thank you. Good, good, good. But there's quite a few of us around here, and we're reading all over the place, and we're glad to. It's very, very glad that you put it. Thank you so much. And Ricky's back there, who must have been at the first reading. We might be the only two who were at the first reading in 91. What? Yes, yes, she was very bold. She just came in and said, "Is it okay? Could we read?" And he said, "Yeah." And we've been reading everything. We want to take that, and then we're going to talk about what's that thing. But I just said, thank you, Rick.